Hey, it's Greg Grunberg, Snap Wexley, and you are listening to 6th Scale Scavengers.
All right, Scavengers, welcome back to episode 75 of the 6th Scale Scavengers podcast. I'm your host, Bryan Fontaine, and joined, as always, with my good friend, Chris Letty. So, Chris, we're going monthly now. I think that's kind of the plan, and I'm just glad to be back in the saddle. And we've got a great panel for everyone today. Lots to talk about with the news. Lots that's transpired over the last month or so. So we certainly are going to have no shortage of things to talk about going forward. But I'm really excited to talk about this Back to the Future stuff and these figures. We'll talk about that in the later part of the show today. So without further ado, and before I bring our three guests on that'll be joining us for the panel in episode 75 here. It feels monumentous, Chris, doesn't it?
I know, 75. Man.
Our number scheme has never worked well because I mean we were going like 2 or 3 episodes per month at sometimes only one. You know, we took a break over the summer and now we're kind of in, you know, a little bit of a different format.
Yeah, I know it'll take us it'll take us longer to get to 100 than you know,
because to get to like 50.
I know. So, but still, I mean, it feels great having hit, you know, number 75. We have a number of bonus episodes and that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, there's so much news dropped. So we got a ton to talk about. We got a great panel tonight. Looking forward to chat with these guys and see what's going on in the live chat too. It's already popping. So
shameless plug alert. I mean, it's our podcast and we just started another podcast. So we mentioned it. We had a super secret project that we were working with TC on. So if you're a fan of myself, Chris, and TC as a trio, and you like Formula One and you like collecting sports cards, the Cards Formula is a new podcast we just launched as a YouTube channel. We'll put the link down below here in YouTube, and we're also on, you know, Amazon Music, Apple, iTunes, all that other fun stuff already. So hope everybody will give us a chance over there. We didn't want to commingle the streams and do a combined channel. So we find that we love hot toys and we love also collecting sports cards, but you know, everybody else might not like that same marriage. So we've got 2 separate shows that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, it was
and
fun.
Everybody misses TC. He's the real eye king.
I know, right? He's got the voice and all that good stuff. Yeah, we got a new endeavor, trading cards, mainly Formula One, but we're going to be talking about other things, non-sports, and you know, Marvel, Star Wars, TCGs type stuff. You know, and maybe some other things too. But yeah, it was really fun getting that going, and look forward to the next episode of that. And yeah, so if any scavengers are interested in other areas of collecting, alternative asset type things, definitely check out the Cards Formula.
And I'm completely off my game, Chris, because I didn't bring the photos up before we started. I didn't even have the agenda ready to go, but I am going to start bringing our hosts on with us tonight. Mm-hmm. So starting, we've got 2 returning panel members from last episode and somebody making a return episode for the first time in 5 episodes. But first up, we've got Mr. Sean Uselby.
Hello.
The beard himself. I gotta work on my beard here because
you do. What are you doing? Dude? Come on.
It's getting to be fall here in New England, New Hampshire. Right? You know, it's pumpkin spice season everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Yeah.
So glad to have Sean back, and obviously one of the co-founders of the big collection coalition, whatever you and Roy
coalition. You're very close. Very good try.
And making his second appearance in a row is his first appearance last time out. We've got Jessie and
hey, everyone.
Also a little
What's up,
fellow
man?
San Diego with Sean here.
That's
So
right.
got the West Coast represented as well.
Woo!
Welcome back, and I know you are very much excited about Back to the Future episode here, Jesse.
Oh yeah,
You had the vest on before we went.
It got
live.
so hot in here. I know. I had the red vest and the blue shirt, but it got too hot in my room, so I can't do that.
Was milk a bad choice?
Yeah. I was actually eating a San Diego burrito before I even got on. So
there you go.
My man.
And last but not least, we've got Danny coming back, Scavenger, who joined us on episode 70, and we went through some different collecting strategies and stuff that Danny did. So Danny, welcome back to the Scavengers, and glad to have you on the panel.
Yeah, great to be back. You didn't warn me when it was episode 70, and you didn't tell me this was episode 75. So I feel like that's kind of a thing that's going on now. But I appreciate the invite back, boys. Thank you.
Well, we'll try to have you back on before episode 80. You're always welcome here. So
appreciate it.
All right, guys. So like I mentioned, we are going to talk about Back to the Future figures after our collection update later on. There's a reissue is kind of a dirty word in the Hot Toys collecting community, but we'll talk about that. What are we going to do with our own collections with this kind of big surprise announcement of all these figures? And maybe there's some more to come, and we'll kind of talk about that. So that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and move right into the news. And as I make the banner here work. So, and speaking of banner, first up, on August 30th, we finally got the drop of Hulk, and I don't have my spreadsheet in front of me to find out how many days this actually was, but I do know it was probably north of 750 days that we waited, guys, to finally see Mr. Banner here in his endgame glory. But so these are obviously final promo shots here, Danny. I feel like a lot of people already had forgotten about this figure by the time we got it.
It's so funny because, when I got into the hobby, I was all about the Justice League, and those were notoriously delayed, and Marvel was getting pushed out left and right. Now we're all into Star Wars, and I feel like Marvel's kind of getting the same treatment. So to me, I'm used to this. I'm okay. The wait was worth it. It looks a lot better. I mean, I don't know I'm going to get it because I'm kind of a traditionalist when it comes to my Hulk. I got my Gladiator Hulk somewhere in this room that I'm working on right now. But anybody who doesn't have a Hulk, this is not a bad place to start, especially at the price point.
Yeah, Sean, the big collection, whatever you call yourself.
Big Collection Coalition with a coefficient of big collection coalitions. This is the it definitely looks good. The sculpt that they made is far improved to what they did do, what they solicited for pre-order. But this is a rare. I'm not getting this.
What?
I know. I think it's cool. And I did want to go kind of all in on the in-game line, but really, if I'm going to get a Hulk from this movie, I want him to have a cardigan and his glasses on and
I consider this a win.
I know. I want that look versus this unitard look. So I'll be passing on this one. Never say never if this goes on discount, down the road, or I find a super good used deal down the road, maybe. But this is a pass. I have all the other Hulks, so I don't need this one for now. We'll see. Famous last words, but yeah.
Chris, I've never been as disappointed as I am right now.
I'm shocked.
Don't worry. The other ones you'll be happy with. So yeah.
I figured, but man, Chris,
yeah.
I don't know what to do with myself here.
I know, right?
I know.
I get where Sean's coming from. I think the Hulk, this figure came out. The sculpt and everything looked better than before. It looks like a well done figure. It's just the style of the figure doesn't quite jive with my style. I've got the Ragnarok Hulk, and that's going to be my Hulk for the foreseeable future. And with some help from some scavengers, I realized that I thought this Hulk was way undersized compared to what he was supposed to be. But then doing the comparison shots, from the movie and everything, it seems proportioned properly. And also the idea that when Banner is like smart Hulk, he's less huge. So, I mean, I guess all that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, it's not one that really fits into my collection. And I guess if you need a Hulk and you want a representative and you don't want to go backwards, this it's an option. I wouldn't say if you're not if you're not 100% on this figure, I wouldn't just buy it to buy it, but buy it because you really do want it.
Yeah. I know we got Jessie back. Any quick thoughts on this, Jessie, before we go to the next figure?
It's not for me. I think the detail looks good. The head sculpt is nice, comes with the gauntlet, which is cool, but it just never was my favorite Hulk in the movie. I liked it because he could talk and do everything, but figure-wise, looks great. Not for me. Whoever's getting it, stoked for you guys, but I'm just going to pass on this one.
One thing too that comes to mind about it is he's gonna be in the She-Hulk show, so I gotta imagine they'll do something for that one, and we'll see what form he's in that one. But yeah, that might be another option if you're devoid of a Hulk and you don't want this one to kind of wait for that one.
Oh yeah,
Good point.
All right, Venom, right on the heels of his sequel coming out, and I did look up this number for some reason. I don't know why I didn't grab the numbers on the Hulk. I've also, I don't know if anybody has still been going to our website. Over the last month or so, I've just been busy with a whole bunch of stuff. I haven't even been updating it as regular as I should. I need to get back on that. It's one of those things that once you let one or a couple figures go, you're like, what's a couple more? So I do got to get back on the bandwagon there because a lot of people do find our website and database checklist very useful. But guys, Venom, September 2nd, after 301 days, so not even a full calendar year, which is very rare for Hot Toys, but obviously no head. Well, there is a head sculpt because there's a head on this figure, but no human head sculpt. I think that's usually what delays, and the likenesses need to be approved and whatnot. But Chris, I wish I could go back to when we first talked about this figure. I don't think any of us were that stoked about it.
Mm-hmm.
I not that I watch a ton of other reviews and stuff like that, but I feel like there's actually been a little bit of positive buzz on this figure, Chris.
Yeah, I think so too. I watched Jenkin Wong's unboxing, figure collecting for dummy, and several other reviews on it, and it's positive. Mostly positive stuff. About this figure. I mean, I personally, Venom was like my favorite villain growing up. I had his Toy Biz figure where he like oozed like black slime out of him and stuff. And
yeah, I remember that.
So something like this. I mean, man,
if he had the emblem on his chest, it would be different.
It kind of stinks that he doesn't have it. You wonder down the line with the multiverse and all that stuff, will we see something like that? I mean, I think this figure looks really cool, and I could see myself having this figure eventually. I don't have it on order, and I haven't checked to see, I'm sure it's going to be available for a while, but yeah, I'm really, really excited to watch Let There Be Carnage, the Venom sequel. So I like this figure, just haven't ordered it. The head sculpt, everything looks great. These blogger pics setting it up. I mean, they did a great job selling this figure. But yeah, it's a cool one.
So Sean, I got to go back to you. I don't know if you need to redeem yourself at all, but to me, this figure does look really cool. It's not one that I'm going to be getting myself, but the figure is probably way cooler than the movie ever was. I can say that I suffered through the first one. I emphasize suffer. I do know that that's strictly my opinion. I know some people really enjoyed it. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah. So the way I described this movie to my friends when I saw it was like an early 2000 superhero movie that was made in 2018.
Yeah.
In that it was just like nothing but CGI, nothing made sense. The bad guy was just whatever. It was a typical Sony superhero movie. I didn't suffer through it. I thought it had redeeming parts. I thought Venom was cool and thought it was pretty funny. And I like Tom Hardy. So yeah, this was not one that I ordered until I saw all the reviews come out. And then I definitely ordered this one. I had like $50 gift card or whatever to Alter Ego. So I got the last one that they had on there.
Sweet.
I got that one.
Nice.
So, I know, that some of the concerns with the suit, or not the suit, but the body material and posting it and stuff like that. And that's definitely legitimate, but we'll see. I think it looks cool even in a museum pose. So definitely going to get it. I love Venom. Venom was an awesome part of my childhood. So looking forward to it. If he does, get the white emblem, which I hope one day he does, then I'll just have to get that one too. So but yeah, this figure definitely blew me away with how well it looks and how well it was received, and just, yeah, everything. I think it looks super cool. This is definitely one of those things where the figure outperforms the movie, but yeah, still good.
So Danny, I do know that you are into doing movie reviews, and you may have a secret project of your own that you're working on soon. But, speaking of movies and maybe the figure being a little bit better than the movie, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, for starters, Brian, you're not alone. I did not like the first Venom movie. I'm sorry. I pushed through to finish that one. But, with this figure here, it's absolutely gorgeous. I can't say anything bad about it if I'm being 100% transparent. I think, like a lot of people, if it had the spider logo on it, this would be a no-brainer for me. An absolute no-brainer. And with everything that's going on in the current events, as far as like when we're going to actually see this statewide, there's a little movie coming out in December, a little Spider-Man movie, if you will. So I don't have any inside traction on it, but there's some speculation that, some characters are going to make appearances in this movie. Some we know already, some that we don't. And, it wouldn't surprise me if we see Venom possibly in that movie. We'll see. But if he shows up in that movie and he has the proper logo he should have there, I'm going to kick myself for ordering this one. So I'm going to wait. This is not a definite no. It's not a yes. But if he shows up to Spider-Man and he has that logo, I'm all in on that figure. It's the only thing it's missing for me. Other than that, it's a perfect figure.
Jesse, so, just hearing everybody kind of talk about this, and I can't imagine that this one was that pre-ordered. And, if the buzz, this is one of those proverbial, people slept on it. The reviews come out. Everyone is more excited about it than maybe they originally thought they would. I don't know if this is going to lead to any kind of a shortage on this figure at all, but then you've got to play that game of, okay, are we going to get any other versions of this? It's not like Venom Pool and all those other things that they've done out there.
Right. Yeah, I think like you said, this one, the movie wasn't great. It wasn't really my favorite. I think I saw it once. It's cool. It's Tom Hardy. It's Venom. You kind of want to see it and hope it was better. But the figure itself looks great. I think it was Jetta who his review made me like really start looking at this figure. When the figure was announced, I was like, okay, sweet. It's Venom. Movie's not my favorite, but again, Batman vs Superman wasn't my favorite, and I have Batman in the collection, because the figure looks great. So figure-wise, I don't think they could have been anything better except that white emblem, but it's movie accurate. It looks like he's wet and greasy how he looks in the movies. He's got a couple tongue attachments, open mouth, closed mouth. I think they knocked it out of the park, honestly. So I think another one will be coming at some point, but for right now, this guy next to Mysterio, I think any other Spider-Man villains that are out there, I forgot the name of them, but the Green Goblin, the Doc Ock. If you guys have those, I think this guy will make a great addition into the collection.
Yeah, that'll be quite the rogues gallery for Spider-Man villains setup. I've seen a few setups on Instagram and that sort of thing, and man, it definitely makes you want the whole lineup.
I was just thinking, while each one of you were talking, I didn't really have a lot to say about the figure, but we're not all here to hear me talk. That's why we have this panel here. I don't think I've ever seen so many blogger photos than I did for that. I just kept clicking right, and it kept having more pictures. I think people really liked photographing that figure. A lot of photoshopping, but still fantastic looking figure.
Yeah, it looks like a super fun figure to mess around with.
Yep.
All right. And the news just goes on. That's what happens when you only broadcast once a month. So, what if the show, Sean, that obviously is available on Disney Plus? I think they're up to
Mhm.
like episode 8 now.
Yeah.
But the first episode that they did was what if Peggy Carter became Captain Carter, and we've got some figures to talk about here. I guess before I kick it over to you, Sean, it's like obviously they went with the animation style,
Mhm.
kind of like what Sideshow's attempting to do with their Anakin and Obi-Wan figures. It's divisive. I will say that.
Yeah. These ones I'm still not sure about. I mean, I do like the animation style. I think this figure looks super duper killer. For something like this, it definitely makes sense to make animation style, because really, I don't know if we'll ever get her like this in the MCU. So if she only exists in this realm, it definitely makes sense to do it like this. So, yeah, I mean, I dig it. I think the figure is really well executed. The Steve and the Hydra Stomper we'll talk about separately, but this one I think is
Throw it in.
cool.
We're gonna lump them all together here.
Yeah. So then the Hydra Stomper and Steve. So this one I think is cool. But for the price it's going for, I'm not sure I need this in my collection. I think if they would have given everybody the opportunity to buy Steve separately, I would have definitely bought her and Steve as a 2-pack or separately or whatever, because I think that makes the most sense. But as far as like a $500 Power Pose huge Iron Man figure, I think, well, it's well done, well executed, just not something I need. But globally, as far as the show goes, I'm sort of holding off a little bit before I order these, just because I want to see where the show goes before I kind of pick and choose what I want to do with these. But I definitely like the Captain Carter episode a lot. I know some people didn't, wasn't their necessary favorite, but I just liked how well done it was and well thought out it was. So as far as the figure goes, I'm going to wait and see. I'll probably definitely pick up Captain Carter. As far as Steve and Hydra Stomper, I'll probably pass unless they do a 2-pack with Steve somehow, some other way. But I don't think I need the Hydra Stomper, as cool as it is.
Jesse, this figure, the Hydra Stomper, I think somebody said is within about an inch of the Hulkbuster size. So this thing is massive. And
It's
as Sean
huge.
said, it's like a power pose. You can't really move the legs. And
Yeah. It's like 22 inches, I think, right? 22 inches tall. I post some pictures on the group about other things that I have that are like relatable and collectible. I mean, the thing towers over my Mando figure, over my Stormtrooper helmet. It's the size of my Sting replica sword from Lord of the Rings. And this thing's massive and it's really cool. It's done well. It's kind of a shame it's not in the MCU exactly, because I think it would have looked really cool on screen. I can like see this figure being, if someone has like a leather, chair and like leather bound books and cigar aficionado, I could just see this like in his collection. I hope people in the group get it, because I think it's going to look really cool in a collection, but be prepared to make some room because this thing is huge.
Chris, I know you're running a little behind on a lot of these episodes.
Yeah.
We're not here to talk about that or give you grief for that, but
yeah, I mean, I watched this episode and I liked it. It's not quite grabbing me the way I thought it would, but as far as the way these figures look, I mean, I absolutely love the way the Captain Carter figure looks. That one, I mean, I think a figure like that would look great with the Into the Spider-Verse figures with the animation style. I mean, I think this line of figures fits well with those, and those kind of pave the way for an animated style figure. I just think the way they sculpted Peggy's face and hair and everything, I think it complements the figure really well. Just a great depiction. Of her. As far as the Hydra Stomper and Steve, I mean, I think they look awesome. The Stomper, the size, Jesse, you did all those measurements and compared everything. It's crazy to think about how big that thing is. I mean, yeah, like Sean was saying, it stinks that it's not like a prominent MCU type of thing, because you could have it in your collection and people come over and they're like, what the heck is that thing? Like, but still, I think, Hot Toys is, again, pushing the limits with what they can do. I just, this is a tough line, and it's really tough with the Marvel stuff, I gotta say. Picking and choosing. There's so many lines. There's so many things coming out. That I just can't. I'm glad I've dialed things back with Marvel, because it is really difficult to pick and choose which direction to go.
Just do it.
Just swipe the card and ask questions later.
Yep.
Answer the questions later. I should
Yeah.
say.
Have a good alibi and explanation.
Yeah.
So Danny, we haven't gotten to you yet on these figures. Any quick thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice piece. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I prefer a more realistic look, but I do kind of agree with what Letty said. I mean, it could lead to, more animated styles there. And I think there's some parts of like as far as, the hobby of things that we would like to get released that kind of can open up the window for example, video game adaptations. I mean, we've seen a couple of them, like Metal Gear Solid, things like that. But like, I'm a big fan of like Knights of the Old Republic, by the way. I mean, I would love something in that style, or maybe even one of like my all-time favorite like trilogies, Mass Effect. I don't know if anybody's a fan of that, but I love those games. I would love to have like a 1/6 scale, like Commander Shepard personally, or something like that. So, I mean, I think it has its place. I mean, right next to Spider-Man, I didn't think about that. I think that's a really cool idea, because the first thing that came to mind when I saw this picture was like, okay, I do have Marvel, but where would I put it? Like, where would it go next to my existing collection? And just like, it would stand out, but for all the wrong reasons. So, but I mean, hey, I mean, I think the show is great. I like the shows and the episodes. I really like this episode. I wouldn't pick up Peggy. If I were to dabble in this line, it would probably be the Hydra Stomper, just because I like the Iron Man look, but I also like the military look about it too. Like, I feel like it kind of touches on a niche that would, like, even if you're not a collector diehard, like, that would be a cool piece if you were somebody who like served or something. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think like you said, like someone who served, like kind of like people in the army who also are nerds and everything that like us have a collection,
which are a lot. There's a lot of them in
cool.
our hobby.
Yeah, my cousin is one of them, and I mean it's super cool. That military look definitely makes it stand out.
Great point.
Well,
Great point.
Two quick thoughts. Kind of our friend Mark here, who obviously
I agree wholeheartedly.
Mark of the Ringcast, and go check out that show if you haven't yet on Collecting Weekly, the channel there. So, and the other part, Danny, you just made me think of something. One of the video game announcements in the last month was obviously that they're going to be doing a Wolverine game, the same people that did the Spider-Man game, and we know how many figures we got for Spider-Man. I personally am a huge Wolverine fan, and I just started rattling off to you guys. I'm like, oh yeah, give me the tiger stripe, give me the brown and orange suit.
Sign me up. I'm there.
The X-Force one, somebody mentioned that. I didn't even think of that one. So
Weapon X.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ooh, gosh, that'd be so cool.
Just give me the bare underwear ones, fresh out of the water.
Yes.
Each your own.
The Hugh Jackman special edition one you want?
That's right.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, a figure, guys, that I never thought we'd see here, Chris, was the Iron
man.
Patriot. Speaking of these Endgame figures, I think there's still a few that they need to get out. I know 2012 Cap is still out there, and I feel like there's maybe one other that they still owe us. But Iron Patriot, Chris, after 786 days, over 2 years, didn't quite get into Wasp territory, but
yeah, that's man, definitely. I think this one was definitely affected, by the pandemic and all the issues going on. But man, this Optimus Prime figure, I mean, this Iron Patriot figure looks
I can't unsee it now. Thanks, Chris.
I know. No, oh man, this is one, again, perfect world. Like, I love these big beefy figures. This one definitely has presence. And look at the size of it against the Mark 85.
I figured I thought it'd be a little taller. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you don't get a good frame of reference in the movie, but
I thought the same thing. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be bigger.
But yeah, he's definitely got some bulk. Awesome looking figure. I know Scott from Parker Files was dying to get this one. We got the full Rhodey head sculpt, which is great. We hadn't gotten that before. I think it looks just like Don Cheadle. They knocked that out of the park. And again, the bloggers went nuts with this one. Just some really cool photography, and just this color scheme really, it's just so different from everything else. If you don't have the first Iron Patriot, I think it would just look awesome on an endgame lineup or a diecast War Machine and Iron Man lineup. Just a cool figure across the board.
Danny, what are you thinking about this one?
I was gonna buy it until Chris made that point of him look like Optimus Prime. I'm gonna tell you right now.
It's more than meets the eye.
Like literally, just like, well, thanks, Slutty. Appreciate that. It's
man.
It's not, listen, it's really nice, really nice. But I kind of echo what everybody else has been saying. I thought it was gonna be bigger too. It just I mean, it's kind of let down. I know it's heavy. I just thought it'd be a little bit taller. I saw somebody else's review kind of comparing like the Mark 85 right next to it there, and it just like, I want it to be bigger than that. I mean, this is kind of like a War Machine's Hulkbuster look. That's how it appeared in the movie. So I was kind of hoping it was going to look like that. But yeah, I think I'm still going to pick this one up. I'm not going to lie. I've kind of have like an idea of what I'm doing with Marvel. I thought I was going to abandon Marvel altogether, but I just think it's impossible.
That's your first mistake.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a DC first guy. Anybody will tell you I'm a DC first guy. So Marvel wasn't top of my list, and obviously Star Wars is up there as well too. So it's kind of third on my list of things I like to collect. I think I'm just going to go with as much end game stuff as I possibly can, and pick and choose ones. Like I have my Gladiator Hulk. It's just that's going to be my Hulk, whatever. But I don't have a War Machine. I think I'm going to pick this one up, especially because that head sculpt looks so darn good as well too.
Yeah, Sean, obviously don't shock me on this one. This has to be on your buy list here.
Let me get unmuted. Come on, man. You know this is, dude. This is a dopo back in the day. This guy's a beefy boy. I know he just seemed a little bit bigger, but I think it's just one of these things like the Hulk, the endgame Hulk. We all thought he was bigger, but he actually probably isn't. So this guy looks freaking awesome. I think he is just a beefy boy. I do wish the colors were a little bit more muted to kind of go with the overall color tone or whatever that Endgame had, where it's a little bit darker and more of a subdued tone on the blue and the red. But overall, I think this thing just looks way too awesome to pass up. I do share the sentiment of the other people that if it came in, the black and gray, the standard War Machine colors, I think it'd be cooler. But it doesn't stop this thing from being awesome. It just looks so alien and like a tank and just freaking awesome. So I can't wait for it. I will definitely be as soon as Time Walker gets this is going to my house. So yeah, awesome release.
Jesse,
a long time for it, but yeah.
Jesse, I just love the shot of Rocket on the top of his shoulder.
It's my favorite. Yeah, I'm not going to get this figure when it comes time to get a War Machine. I'll probably get the Mark, was it 1? The one from Iron Man 2. That's my favorite War Machine, but this looks awesome. Like everyone said, detail wise, it's great. Color could be a little darker. He stands out like really, really big on that shelf. I saw it at Comic-Con when they announced it. I was luckily there, and it's big. It is big. I know it's not as big as we thought it was going to be, but it's still big. Rocket on top of him was probably one of my favorite parts of the movie. So that's probably the only reason I'll get a War Machine is because he looks awesome, and I want to put Rocket on him.
Sure. All right. Last one before we skip over to collection updates. And obviously, we're going to talk about all the Back to the Future figures after that collection update. So if you're wondering why we haven't talked about them yet, that is why, if you're just tuning in. So 39 people, Chris, tuning in live on a random Wednesday night.
We'll take it.
Pretty cool. I love just hanging out with everyone. That's the best part of doing the show.
Oh, I know.
So, Chris, Spider-Man, black and gold suit. I don't know if we talked about this initially. I don't think that we did, but they did some updates. I think they had to redo some of the gauntlets on this. They may have been the incorrect color. I feel like obviously this was announced well in advance of the movie coming out. There's so few details. I mean, Danny was just talking about maybe potentially some villains that we've seen or could see again from the multiverse. So it's hard to be honest, it's hard to get any excited about this figure because I don't have any context of what this suit means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. We get a little bit of a tease in it when they drop the teaser trailer. Other than that, anyone's guess is as good as mine. Like I think it's a unique looking suit. Something why is he got this suit? Like what's the reason? I need to know. I can't wait for this movie. So yeah, I mean I think it looks cool. I can't say it's one that's like really calling to me right now, having no context for it. But I mean, it's another Spider-Man figure. Got quite a few of them out there. So what the demand is going to be, what the level of demand is going to be for this, who knows? I mean, we're expecting this movie to probably be pretty massive. So I would think that this one might get some steam once the movie comes out.
Yeah, we don't necessarily have to go around the horn to everyone on this one, but does anybody have any strong opinions or thoughts on this one?
Only thought I had on it is, yeah, love it. I think it's just like what I'm trying to speculate here for the movie is he got a relic from Strange, because if you look at one of his, I think it's his left forearm in some shots.
Yeah, look at that.
He has something else on it, and there you go, something like that. I don't know if that's a relic or maybe something chose him. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think that could be cool, but besides that, I'm not really too interested in the figure. I think it looks amazing, but another Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'll just say, I mean, it's Spider-Man, so I was going to buy it regardless. He's one of my favorite characters other than Wolverine. But that trailer just like got me so hyped for the movie. So like, regardless of if there's other suits in the movie, I'm going to buy those too. I love Tom Holland's Spider-Man and all that stuff. And then who knows what rumors are true about the movie, but they'll, if they happen to all come true, then this is going to be a huge money pit as far as figures go. So, they're starting it off slow maybe, but yeah, I like it. I think it's unique. I'm a sucker for a Spider-Man in a black suit. I know it's not the black suit that everybody wants, but it is, it's something, and I dig it. It's different than the other red and blue or red and black Spideys that I have on the shelf, so I'll take it.
I guess I'll say something real quick on it. I'm Spider-Man fatigued with all the figures that have come out, honestly.
Me both, Danny.
It looks cool, but it's another Spider-Man. I like my Spider-Man to be blue and red. That's just me. I have one. I'm totally happy with it. Sean, to your point, I mean, I don't know if the rumors are true either, but I got a funny feeling there's going to be something in the pipeline you're going to probably want to buy too. Just leave it at that.
Oh, I know. Hey, man, is it in the movie? Yep. Cool. Let's do it.
No, I think you guys are spot on. I think Hot Toys is that meme of the guy going around the tree, kind of like rubbing his hands together. That's them looking at. Let's look at them looking at this movie here. So, all right, great. So, like I said, we're going to cover the Back to the Future stuff and maybe what each of us are intending to do or not intending to do there. But again, Chris, 75 episodes in, people like collection updates. So we'll go around the horn here. I'll kick things off because I always go last. The only things I've done over the last month is I mentioned last time out, I was looking to sell my Rey from Rise of Skywalker, and I did open it just to inspect it. Fantastic looking figure. I just didn't really see it fitting in with what I've got. And I did make a sacrifice of the Heavy Mandalorian, which stinks because it's obviously Jon Favreau's character, the maker of the show and all that fantastic stuff. But, for like a background character, and I mentioned it, I posted some photos in the group. I think I posted it on our Instagram, Chris, but use the money to get to the deluxe clones. And I've got some more clones on the way from Ray at Underground Figures, and I'm really gonna go for that clone setup. Like that's the one thing that I'm gonna have as a focal point of my collection going forward. So we've mentioned it before, Chris. Use your collection to fund your collection, and I held up to my end of the bargain on there.
That you did. Never surprises us. Though the moves have been a lot less aggressive and from one extreme to the other recently, at least in the Hot Toys realm. We don't need to talk about
Don't need
other
to talk about
areas.
CADs.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, like you, I did get, I got a second 501st Clone Trooper Deluxe from Ray at Underground Figures. So I'm going to rock 2 of those. That's the only thing that came in. I did sell my Sideshow C3PO to Jason S in the group. So he was happy to take that on. And then also, I talk about, I have a number of figures that I'm going to be putting up for sale. If anybody's interested in what I'm going to have for sale, check out at Letty's Collectibles on Instagram, and you'll see some hopefully soon. If there's any figures people are looking for specifically, shoot me a message over there, and I might have some stuff. But yeah, I think I've got about 15 figures or so that are going to be getting up for sale.
Pending approval.
15.
Pending approval.
Yeah,
Pending.
Sean and Roy need to vet these said.
Yeah,
selling.
most of them are not approved for sale, but gotta shift things around. I mean, I got so many figures on pre-order, and it just seems like nothing is coming in. So I'm just like waiting for everything to show up. But yeah, so check out Instagram.
All right. Anybody else? Sean, I know you have to have at least made some pre-orders in the last month.
Oh no, I haven't pre-ordered one single thing at all. No. So I got the only thing I got in is I got 4 of the Clone Trooper 501st Deluxes, so I did get those. I got 3 from Time Walker and 1 from Alter Ego. Let's see here. I got in a few Mezco figures and stuff like that, smaller scale stuff. I believe I got in Ray. I think I got it after you did, so I got that one in as well. But yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's mostly pre-orders. I pre-ordered after waiting and kind of watching the movie. I pre-ordered both Shang-Chi and Wenwu from the movie.
Very nice.
Which we didn't cover in the news, by the way. Somebody asked about that. It was just so many. There's only so many things we can't talk about. Yeah. So
Stellar figures, and they announced the new accessories, kind of what everybody thought they were going to be, but I think they did a really good job on those figures. So I got those on pre-order. Additionally, I pre-ordered. Let's see here. I have my thing up here. Well, we'll talk about the Back to the Future stuff because that was also pre-ordered. But really, the biggest thing that I pre-ordered that is big for me is I pre-ordered the quarter scale Last Ronin PCS statue, the Supreme one with the brothers in the back. So that's my first like huge statue, which is $1 billion approximately. So
sounds about right.
$1 billion and $1.
Yeah, I got that on order, and yeah, that's about it. I think we're about to start getting a deluge of pre-orders coming in. So yeah, next time will be a lot more, I'm sure. Actually,
I know David in our 6 Scale Scavengers group has somehow found a good way to track shipments that are coming in support, and noticed that there's a couple things that will be releasing soon that haven't even released in Hong Kong. I know the Death Watch Mandalorian was one of them. Gosh, I'm blanking.
Yeah,
Chris, do you remember?
Oh, man, there was. I know. I was just looking at it. Yeah, there is one other thing that
was it. The Miles Morales figure, one of them. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm not trying to like. Yeah. So and people got the Sideshow emails today. I saw one post the Death Watch Mando. So. I don't know if this is one way that Sideshow is trying to stay competitive in the global market, and we're not here to pick sides. That's not what we do here. We're here to enjoy said figures and not get into any kind of a he said, she said, or pick a side. We like in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, I just got that Death Watch Mando. I'm really curious to see how that figure is going to be, received, because I think it's a sleeper figure. I know Roy, I know a lot of people think it's a sleeper figure. Kind of went under the radar just because there were so many figures that went up for pre-order right around that time. But I think it's great. I think it'll look great with Bo-Katan and whenever Casca Reeves and some of the other Mandos release. I think it's gonna look awesome. But yeah,
I think you need to get it. I'm not really going all in on the Mando line, but I'm think it's gonna actually look good in a Clone Wars setup.
Yes.
So
totally.
that's where I might.
It's right in that era.
I might keep my pre-order that I've got. So for that. So anyway, sorry for the tangent. So Jessie, anything? I know you're thinking of making some moves.
Yeah, making moves. I haven't pre-ordered anything since the last time we talked. I got a couple of Batmans on the chopping block. I don't want to sell them, but it's kind of time to
save it for the next topic that we've got here. So
yeah, exactly. So haven't pre-ordered anything yet. I do have a lot of rewards points in Sideshow, so I'm really happy I haven't used them yet, because Back to the Future is one of my favorite franchises. Just a few Batmans on the chopping block. A lot of orders coming hopefully soon, but everything's on pause right now. Comes on my wife's. We're expecting our baby to be due early December, so kind of planning for that. Yeah, the collection. The collection kind of gets put on hold. So we can afford that. So right now,
babies are cheap the first year. Babies are super cheap the first year. Don't even worry about it, dude.
Diapers so cheap.
Yeah.
So I bought a lot of diapers recently. That's my collection update.
Oh my god!
Diapers and
did you dopo those diapers?
Don't pull a Liddy and don't get 6-scale diapers though.
I know. Right?
I might be able to iron them for you with this 6-scale iron.
Oh yeah, they're embroidered with 6-scale scavengers on them.
Yeah, vintage.
Ooh, there's a new marketing opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. Yeah, so my collection update's a little small this week.
Nothing wrong with that. So, and last but not least, Danny. So, Danny, since the last time you've been on, I'm sure there's been a lot of things that you've been doing, but I do know that your collection space is probably where your big update would lie here.
Yeah, I mean, I switched out my setup from the man cave where all my collection was to a proper office. I'm now working from home full time, so I needed a little bit more room and any excuse to like add another case or something like that. Thanks. Any chance to add another case where I could put more? I'm like, okay, first I got to speak with the council, aka my wife. Like, here's why we need this, and let me tell you why. It worked, so we're good.
Sounds like a true salesman.
Yeah,
always selling, always be selling. But I have behind me here. I'm working on it now. I'm sorry, I wanted to get it done before the podcast tonight, but unfortunately, just blame Amazon. Sorry, guys, but I literally all my DC and my Marvel are going to be back here behind me. And funny, we're talking about it today, but I'm hoping for a reissue of a possible DeLorean, so I can put at the bottom. Because I did the measurements, I looked it up. It will fit perfectly in this here. So, perfect segue to our topic tonight, guys.
Very perfect segue. So let's use that opportunity because we're professionals here, and anytime we can use a segue that's proper, I think we got to take advantage of that. So, guys, in the last month, I personally had zero these first announcements. So we got 2 separate days in the month of September where we got some Back to the Future goodness. September 7th was, and we'll talk about all these figures, and I've got all the photos that we'll bring up here. I'm just kind of setting the stage. So obviously, like I said, reissue is kind of a dirty word, but the original Marty figure from Back to the Future 1 repurposed, kind of maybe a new head sculpt, so not a true reissue, and they've got
it's like a 1.5,
1.5-ish,
almost a 2.0, but 1.5
with Emmett. But then the other thing was like 10 days later, Back to the Future 3 out of the blue. We've got the figures from there.
Yes.
So there's so much to unpack here. Number one, so we'll go through. Let's look at the figures first. But as each of you have the opportunity to talk, I mean, just what do we do? Because I think a lot of collectors are going to wonder about this, because we're going to talk about the Marty figure, but it's already released in Hong Kong and it will release soon in Sideshow. But the dock that goes with it isn't going to release until, I believe, the beginning of 2023. And as Danny said, we're all speculating that there's potentially a deluxe version of the DeLorean that will come out that you could either do, 1, 2, or 3. You could either have the original setup, potentially put the Mr. Fusion on the top and the back with the, the conversion wheels, or do you go with like the train setup? And
That'd be so cool.
all right. I just
That'd be rad.
we just gotta. I just had to the excitement level is there. So, I mean, guys, let's start with Back to the Future 1. For my money, one of the best movies of all time. The score,
my God.
Jessie. I know you were the one out of all of us that was like, "You again!"
Yeah, I freaked. I like when I got into Hot Toys, I saw that Marty was a figure, and then I saw the aftermarket prices. So my wife was cool enough and got me the small one.
Man. Yeah.
So I got
Nice.
that. But the fact that we're getting, like you said, not a reissue, but a new figure, and then this dock. And then when they when they announced the ones from 3, the cowboy ones, I'm a huge Western fan, a huge Clint Eastwood fan. So I grew up loving that movie. I usually will buy a coffee for work, but I made coffee that day and I like triple scooped it and I chugged it because I was having a busy day. And I went on the group just to check, and I freaked out. I mean, you guys know in the admin chat, I was like, I'm all in. Give me all of them. So we'll see, but I'm so excited. They look great.
Coffees for closers, Chris.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Oh man. Yeah, this is it's funny. Like I was trying to think of, is there an anniversary, for the movie? Was there any event or something going on? What's the reasoning why Hot Toys, would drop these now? And then I just remembered Hot Toys does what Hot Toys wants to do. And they just decided this is the right time. And I mean, why not? I mean, like you said, Brian, I mean, Back to the Future 1. Oh my God, I could watch that movie just over and over and over again. I absolutely love it. I grew up, in the 80s, and that movie is a part of my childhood and everything.
All right, Chris, just one thing. Just correction. I said Emmett earlier. I meant to say Einstein, obviously.
Yeah.
So everyone just yelling at their earbuds right
Fake
now.
fan.
Like,
Yeah. Get out of here.
yeah.
Yeah, you don't know Back to the Future, man.
What a hack.
That's me.
Yeah. No, I think just that nostalgia and everything, it Back to the Future plays huge with that. And the fact that Hot Toys, years ago made figures for this, showed that there's a market for them. It's just a lot of people are questioning, were we going to get some more figures from this line ever? And I just
Justin with a rare appearance and
I know.
dropping the mic here.
Yeah, I know. I had to remind him that we were live. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. So yeah, I mean, I've played that. I've been on the fence. Do I dive in to these figures and Bryan had his fling.
Do it. Yes.
And no, I mean, these are on my list of figures that unfortunately my collection roam and situation has taken a huge delay, but I would love to have a little bit more pop culture representation, and Back to the Future is number one. Number one, another franchise that I'd love to at least have a shelf with, Hot Toys, a couple other, 1-to-1 scale things, just some representation. But yeah, I mean, no pre-ordering yet. Definitely have to play the waiting game for these, but I'm strongly on board with, what they're doing and bringing this line back to life. So
I would say wait
sure.
before we go. I would say be careful with the waiting game, at least for the Marty,
Yeah.
because that one seems.
Yeah,
to have
what's the
already
deal
sold
with
out.
that?
It seems to. I think it was limited to like 600 or 300 in Hong Kong. I'm sure someone in chat will correct me,
Yeah.
but like 600 or something like that in Hong Kong, and those are all sold out immediately. So
Yeah.
I'm sure Sideshow's getting their own allotment, however many that is. But I mean that's coming out like next month, so I guess that's one of those things you just gotta weigh if you want to wait that long or whatever. But at least with that one,
Yeah.
that one.
Okay,
might be.
600.
Yeah, just jump on him now.
Oops. Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, like Danny, what's the play here? Because I mean, obviously, we're scavengers. We're all trying to find deals, but on the other hand, too, like you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot if this is something that you do want to go down the line and potentially have at least Back to the Future 1 and maybe Back to the Future 3 represented. Like if you might have to make that decision sooner than later, because you might end up paying aftermarket for this Marty might go back up to 400 plus like the other original one did. But that all the companion pieces might not release for a while. It's like one of those things you might have to like set aside money in your budget for it and then just kind of keep it in a box till you get everything else maybe.
Yeah, I mean, for this, I mean, I'm kind of like the same boat as Letty. I mean, I'm a kid from the 80s too. I grew up watching these movies over and over and over again. I think I burned out VH tapes watching these back in the day. And honestly, when I got into this hobby, I mean, and I knew that there were some Back to Futures, right? Like the Back to Future 2 line that was out there. I mean, I had to have it. I didn't care as much, just because it meant so much to me. And that's kind of where I am. Like, I don't want to keep up with the Joneses just because everybody else is interested in something. Like, to Letty's point, like, this was a super big part of my childhood. In fact, I think when I came into the group, I actually, come to think of it, I got it from a scavenger in the group a couple years back. I got Marty and Doc from part 2. So, and ironically, I was actively looking for this like a day before, looking for the Back to Future part 1 Marty McFly. And then it was announced, and I was like, thank you, reissues, which I normally don't like, but it helped me, so I'm not mad this time.
Yeah.
But then they came back. Doc Brown was announced. I was like, holy cow. So I'm not investing in just one figure. I potentially might have to get two or three more. So what do you do at that point? I'll be honest with you. I'm not a fan of Back to the Future 3. So for me, I'm okay. I already pre-ordered Marty from part 1 because I was already looking. And I'm going to hesitantly get Doc Brown from part 1. I really do hope the reason why he's being delayed, well, I wouldn't say it's delayed, but he was announced for a later date, is because they're going to replace that head sculpt. I have part 2. I have that head sculpt. He wears his sunglasses for a reason. I am not a fan of it. So I'm thinking it's a placeholder, and it might be something that will be different in the final product.
You're saying that Doc head sculpt is the one on the 2 figure?
It's the same as that one. You can actually see the holes
okay.
still there for where the sunglasses is supposed to be on the part 2 version.
Oh yeah, you can see it right here.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, I just think that it's something to show off Marty now to get people to buy it and pre-order that one because that's going to be releasing sooner. But it would not make sense considering if they were going to release that Doc and they already had the sculpt and they just had to repaint it and all that stuff. I don't know what the process is with tailoring, but it doesn't seem that hard enough to where they couldn't do it together, So I think they showed this one off to eventually release a different head sculpt because another great segue, the Back to the Future ones came out and that one also has a very different head sculpt for Doc. So, and I looked it up before we got on the show tonight. They're set to be released the same quarter in 2023. So I don't think you need that much time for a Doc Brown part 1 to push out. So I think they're going to surprise us with the final product.
Yeah, I mean, this is just exciting. So, I mean, Chris, you mentioned it. So I did have the original Marty. I had gotten a deal. What site did I get it on? It may have even been from the whatever site they use for Frank and Sons. It's been so long since I grabbed it. Anyways, it was brand new when I got it. Obviously, the figure showed its age a little bit. I'm glad to see that the head sculpt's a little updated here. Obviously, having Einstein At least it looks like a dog as opposed to the cat that came with Captain Marvel that was atrocious. So, and I did have the DeLorean originally, and Roy's taken bets on how likely it is that I'll get it again if they release it. So obviously, like you guys mentioned, I watched this movie so much growing up, and it always will hold a special place to me. And I think that's why we collect. You collect for the community. There's a lot of like-minded scavengers out there. I mean, obviously, air quotes, stuff is cool, but the art of collecting and being able to converse with other people and share our passions and stuff, that's really why we still have this podcast and this show is on YouTube, and why we're still doing it, because it's what draws me back, at least. The DeLorean I had originally, I bought it used on eBay. The clock inside was missing. They did end up giving me a discount because he didn't realize it was included and he didn't have it. And there were some scuffs and stuff, and it just never was like new and pristine. So to be honest, the opportunity to potentially own it again and own it from the beginning. I know we had potentially, like, I was getting really tempted, Sean. I remember you talking about like when the Batmobile was coming out, and the Batman the Batman Begins stuff.
Tumblr. Yeah.
The Tumblr, thank you. And I was like really tempted by that, but like at least with this, obviously Back to the Future I hold in higher regard than Batman. Sorry, Batman. Sorry, Gare. So I'm conflicted. You guys are now really making me wonder that I do gotta probably, if I am going to do this, just cash in like you guys. I have a lot of sideshow points I could use. It's just like lock in this Marty. And even if I decide that I don't want to go down that path, and a year plus from now decide that I don't want to get everything again, is then there'll be people looking for the Marty, and you won't lose money on trying to sell it. You could at least get your money back, if not maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, well, I have decided that I wanted it, and so I just ordered it.
On the spot. Was that a dope? Well, it's not a dope, but was that an order on?
I'm literally like about to do it.
Yes. I had enough rewards to cover shipping and to knock I just did a payment plan, but I knocked the payment plan $10 a month from what it normally would have been. So I'll take that. But yeah, again, I knew that I needed to do something, different, have some other representation there. So yeah, that's thanks guys.
Yeah,
peer pressure works, Sean.
I know.
I'm glad, because my story with it is the first time I met Mario from CW, I went up there and I was going to buy basically the Marty from 1 and then Doc and Marty from 2. And it ended up just being I just got Doc and Marty from 2, and I still wanted him from 1, but it was always one of these things where I at least like my figures to kind of be in pairs. I like them to have friends when they're displayed together, whenever they get displayed. But so it was I love Back to the Future 1, but it was just always like, well, I just I have Marty, where's Doc? I need a doctor. So then when they reissued this, I was like, well, screw it. I'm just getting it because I want it. And, they updated a little bit. So it's great. And then when they announced Doc as well, it's like, holy smokes, I'm in for it. And then what we're going to talk about next, then there's even more. So, yeah.
But before we do that, so what do we think the chances are that the figures from Back to the Future 2 get a reissue around the same time frame? Because you guys have mentioned it, and I didn't look at it before the episode. I'm sure somebody could check now. I don't even know what the aftermarket prices for those figures are doing, and I haven't looked in a long time, so I don't even know. But I have to imagine now that there's an increased demand, and especially our channel here, and I'm sure a lot of other channels are talking about these figures, as they should. That's just going to get the hype machine going, and I would have to imagine by proxy that those Back to the Future 2 figures are also there. I'm sure they were aftermarket price was high before. I'm sure it's a lot higher now.
Yeah, I would imagine. I think Doc might have taken a hit. I haven't looked, so I couldn't tell you. But really, that was the only Doc that was out there. So if you wanted a Doc and Marty, you had to get that Doc. But now that there's another option out there, maybe it went down a little bit. But I love those figures regardless. So yeah, I'm not sure, but I think, I mean, if they're in a reissuing mood, Hot Toys is gonna Hot Toys, so you know, they might reissue it, especially if they do a DeLorean that has Mr. Fusion and all that. So
Bingo.
but, yeah,
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I like.
But
that
I
they're
mean,
doing
like
this.
you, Sean, I also like to have figures at least in pairs. And how cool would it be to have a Maji case that you've got the DeLorean in it, you've got Marty and Doc from each of the 3 movies. Whether you like them or not, Danny, I'm not going to give you grief for not liking the 3rd one. It's
Sorry.
okay. No, you just hey, you tell it how it is. That's great.
I will say this here.
And Jessie
Yes.
just
I will
ordered
say
is
this:
confirmed.
if Marty came in the all pink from like the 50s cowboy outfit that he
Yeah.
arrived into the West, I would so buy that one
Ooh, that
over
could be
this
a
one.
Like the
convention
1950s
exclusive.
Western Marty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean I want that one. That one is funny. It was a great
Clint East-
scene.
It'd actually be Clint
It's pretty cool.
Eastwood. They named it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would buy that one there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, like the Back to the Future DeLorean Part 3 version. I mean, it's nice and all, but my favorite is Part 2 as far as all the movies are. And if they do some kind of conversion kit for that, I mean, I just know how I'm going to display this whole thing. So I just don't want to go too hard on this here, because remember, I still have to pass my wife on the door. You know,
Yeah,
it's just
I know.
so.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
So keep telling me, but I keep messing up with all these pre-orders.
So I don't know. I guess if I was to recommend anything here is, you know, keep tabs on the secondary market for the Back to the Future 2 figures. Don't pay a huge, you know, fee, because like as Sean just said, Hot Toys could want a Hot Toy, and you could end up paying way more than a retail price if you're just patient and wait it out. So gosh, this is exciting. So anyway, the other surprise is I never thought we'd get these figures, and I will say too, I'm hearing some strong rumors that there may be other characters from these movies that potentially might be looked at too. So, you know, I think it would make sense potentially to have Biff, you know, George McFly, Lorraine, you know, who knows, but
Yeah.
as long as the 2 main characters are
Yeah.
are represented, I think I would be happy as a collector. So
Oh, yeah.
Jessie, again, I'll go to you first, because again, you were the most excited about these.
Yeah.
Marty / Clint Eastwood and
Yeah.
Doc Brown with a conversion DeLorean here,
Yeah. So cool. It's so rad looking. I mean,
white
If
wall
I- if-
tires.
yeah, if it's a deluxe DeLorean, I was gonna say Mandalorian. If it's a deluxe DeLorean to swap out, then if I could afford it, I'm all in. If it's like if they make 3 separate ones, I got to go with the original. But I never thought I'd see these. Like I said, I'm a big Western fan, so I'm stoked for this like Henry rifle that he has that he customized. I'm stoked for the poncho. The picture's rad. I was just hoping, I don't think they do, but that I hope that one of them comes with like a background picture of that clock, because that'll be cool
Yeah,
to have
that's
them pose
iconic.
like that.
Mhm.
That would be awesome. It's something different too. How many Western figures do you get? You know, you got a couple from the video games, but
It's true.
you don't have a lot of Western figures, so these guys would look really, really good. Especially if they reissue Marty and Doc from 2, then you can just have them paired up like 1, 2, and 3. You can have all the Martys lined up, all the Docs lined up. I mean, I can't be more excited. This is probably my most anticipated figure, that Marty, for a long time, at least for this year, and I'm super excited.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why. Again, like when seeing this movie as a kid, or you know, it was so fun, and it obviously number one's my favorite, but just a fun factor of this movie, just the idea of going back in time, and you know, I loved the idea that the DeLorean was like tucked away, and
Oh, that scene's so cool.
yeah, and
Yeah,
I just
digging it up.
yep. Oh man, it's so fun. But
Yeah.
these figures, the tailoring, the fit, the finish of, you know, all the different layers that they're wearing, I think everything looks really natural, you know, for the 6 scale, which, you know, we know that Hot Toys is continually, you know, pushing the bar as to the realism and everything. You see with like some of the third party figures, things just don't look quite right. But I think the way they've got these figures set up looks awesome. You got the poncho, you get the hats, everything, and that scene with the gun was just so sweet. I love these figures. Again, like, oh man, perfect world. I'd love to have that whole lineup, like you were talking about, from 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
But time will tell. I think we got some time.
How many puns are you going to use, Chris? Time will tell. Sorry, it's not an episode. I try. Doesn't really work, but I do try. These are ones that I would love to have someday. See how things play out. But glad we're getting them. It's great seeing Hot Toys do some other lines. That's the big thing.
I feel like that's what we need some variety at this point.
Yeah, we need variety, and I like the fact that he comes with the the frisbee pie, like tin. That's pretty cool. That's like some random they threw in there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the type of stuff that I'd like to see Hot Toys. It's great seeing accessories, but then you get some figures that have hardly anything. It's like you could throw in some other stuff, but.
So man,
the thing that really impresses me about these figures is the tailoring on the clothes, because usually I think Hot Toys clothes is it's hard to translate some cloth and some materials into 6 scale, but whatever technology or whatever material or whatever they use for this tailoring looks phenomenal. It looks like it's just a little mini shrink ray of what they were wearing. So happy about that. I do wish the hats were removable, but at the same time, some figures that I have that have hats is kind of a pain in the butt because they never sit right and look right. So I understand why they did it, but we'll see how that shakes out when it's final. But really impressed with the tailoring and on these figures, and fingers crossed about the DeLorean. So yeah.
In my defense, though, that my opinion does not reflect the quality of these figures. They are amazing looking.
Good save, Danny.
I feel like I kind of shot myself in the foot when everybody's like, "Oh, I love this movie," and I'm like, what I meant to say was, no, they are good-looking figures. They're good-looking figures. I prefer 1 and 2. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I feel ostracized when I say that 2's my favorite. So I'm with you. So.
I always grew up with being 1, 3, and 2. That's the order.
Okay.
I mean, I love 2, but when I choose to watch them, I always just like skip to the end of 2 because I love that part where lightning strikes and Doc's just gone, and you're like, "What? Like where?" And then I just love how it's just like, "Oh, here's a letter, by the way. We've had it for like 70 years or whatever." I love that whole thing. It's so cool. It's such a great movie. Mm-hmm. Such a great franchise.
That hoverboard, man, it does it for me every time. That scene.
Yes.
Every time it does it for me.
Just the Alan Silvestri theme does it for me.
You got Alan Silvestri's music, great direction, great actors, the hoverboard, which, I mean, I know we're like, 6 years past what the future technically was in this movie, and we have
hoverboard, Jaws 50 or something like that was in the movie?
Jaws 16.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which, I mean, I still want a hoverboard, and man, these movies are so good.
Yeah, agreed.
So I mean, this is what collecting is all about. Obviously, like I said, talking about stuff is, it's all about what the stuff does. Helps us remember, really cool memories of either growing up or just favorite movies, even if you don't like one of them, Danny. But I mean, really, why we collect these things is you want to be able to look at it on your shelf, and like Sean said, it's like a little mini shrink ray of these. I mean, I've got this photo up on the screen for a reason, just because obviously they had the photo taken here, and Marty carries it around with him, but it just looks like it's a movie still. And I mean, kudos to Hot Toys for this. I mean, obviously these are just prototypes. They could either improve on this, it could look the same, or it could look worse. And we're going to have to wait a while for these again, but We've been waiting. This is something we didn't even know we wanted, and they gave it to us. And I just think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
see, Brian, that's to kind of add on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but see, that's the thing about like going back to things that really stand out to you there, because with Hot Toys is always, you always got to play the long game with Hot Toys, and no matter what you figure you commit to, it's going to be a year, maybe a year and a half. Hopefully, there's not a delay. Looking at you, Hulk, but when it's something like that's so meaningful to you, like Back to the Future, that's well over 35 years old now at this point. I mean, it's okay to pre-order something like this if this is something you're truly passionate about. If it's something that really stood out for you, does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, and I mean, that there's not going to be a Back to the Future 4. I mean, it's finite. There's a beginning and an end. So
Right.
Never say never.
You just might get more
Is there
figures.
going to be a reboot?
Oh no! Don't reboot this. Don't reboot Jaws. We're good.
I mean,
what's
you
great
never
about
know.
these
You
movies?
never know.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, they're doing Ghostbusters and
True.
all this stuff. Man,
Yeah.
Could
It's
be
true.
Marty's grandkids,
Right.
or they are kids.
But it could
It's your
be,
grandkids, Marty. Something's going to be done about your grandkids.
I know, finding the DeLorean in the
Yeah.
barn out in the middle of nowhere. So,
That's too easy of a
Finding
plot.
Doc
Now it's going to
Strange.
happen.
Yeah.
I wanted to actually.
Kind of be cool. Didn't Doc? I just went blank on his name, but didn't he? The actor just like appear as Rick from Rick and Morty in a commercial. Did you guys see that?
Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool. I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool little like thing to throw in
Yeah,
for
they've
him. It was like fitting.
Oh yeah, I mean they've done some like promotional stuff, Back to the Future related over the years, and it's been pretty cool. But yeah, I mean Hollywood likes to regurgitate a lot of franchises, so hopefully, hopefully if they ever do make another movie, it's not a reboot, but it's a continuation. But
all crazy talk that we're getting there now.
I know.
Yeah.
So anyways, obviously we could keep going on and on about this, but we do have to end the episode here at some point. And ultimately, what we all hope, the five of us hope, is that us talking through what we're considering doing will help you with your own decisions. Again, don't just get it because everyone else is.
Yeah.
I think we've all played up the nostalgia card pretty hard here. Is if it's something that you're drawn to, that's when you make the move, and then go from there. But your opportunity may be limited, especially if you want to target those Back to the Future 1 figures, because like we've said, Marty might be in short supply, seeing how two of the panelists here already have ordered it before we've even ended the stream.
We got someone in the group ordered it too.
Yeah, I know.
In the chat.
Star Child.
Yeah, Star Child. Yeah.
Blue screen, guys. It's on blue screen.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't say that.
Never know.
Countdown. You have
Maybelline
About
over
to
here.
stop the show.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll move to closing thoughts. So again, I hope everyone's really kind of digging the new format. It's a lot of fun to do this now, Chris, and obviously thanks to Danny, Jessie, and Sean for joining us for this go around.
Yeah. I know it. We're still feeling things out with the new format, but I think it's going great, and love hearing some of the different perspectives and voices and that sort of thing. So yeah, thanks guys for jumping on with us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Always a pleasure, boys.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
You guys are welcome back anytime. So, all right, we'll do our quick plugs. So obviously we've got our website that I have been updating over the last month or two. So there's still some information there. I hopefully maybe I'll add it Back to the Future page. That'd be cool.
Mhm.
There we go.
Maybe
There's
that,
not
that
too
maybe
many
There
on
you
there.
Yeah, it's not too many, and maybe gets me back in the groove. It's just one of those things I have to really commit to wanting to do it because it's monotonous at times. But I do know that people find it useful. We've still got our TeePublic store. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Audio podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and scalescavengers.libsyn.com. If you want to grab that RSS feed and throw it into your podcast catcher of choice. Obviously, Scott couldn't join us tonight, but obviously check out Parker Files on YouTube. be doing some fantastic Marvel hot toy reviews, and I saw a couple neat comments about Scott in the live stream today, so definitely check out his channel. And as I mentioned, quick plug for the Cards Formula on YouTube, the joint venture between me, Chris, and TC, talking Formula One trading cards. If you're a Formula One fan, you've checked out Drive to Survive, and you want to come hang out with us, we're just starting out. So but I think, Chris, I don't think it would have gone well to kind of cover hot toys and Formula One in the same.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. So guys,
market
Hamilton #1 forever, and all.
Oh man. Oh yeah.
Don't Mark. Mark.
Close
You might
your
have to
ears,
duke
Mark.
it out with Mark on the next Ringcast.
Yeah, I know. But and just want to throw it out to the panelists. Anything you guys want to plug too that you guys got going on?
I got a couple things. So I will mention Mark Ringscast. He goes in deep on Lord of the Rings, and I will be on there this Saturday. It's on the CW network, so I will be on there talking about my honeymoon that I went to New Zealand about 10 years ago and checked out Hobbiton right before they actually filmed the Hobbit trilogy.
Nice.
So, I got some pictures
That's
I'll be sharing
awesome.
from that. Yeah, and trying to remember what we did because it's 10 years and a lot of beer in between.
Yeah.
That's a
And,
dream vacation for me.
Oh, it's amazing. Highly recommend. And the other thing I want to plug too is so through collecting, I buy a lot of stuff, obviously BCC. And I buy stuff from Time Walker all the time. That's neither here nor there. But I made friends with this guy named Nathan Reinke that he's a manager of that store, but he's also an artist. And we just kind of talked, through Scavengers and through a bunch of stuff, but he's an artist, and he sent me some art. Well, when I bought the Mythos Darth Maul statue from there, he actually sent me this print to go with it. So it's all, he draws it all and, et cetera, and goes to Comic Cons and shows off his art. So I just wanted to give him a plug because 1, he's an awesome dude, and 2, he does a lot of awesome art. So this is going behind my statue, but he has a lot of stuff. So check him out. Reinke Arts on Facebook. It's Reinke. It's very German. So it's probably Reinke or something like that. But yeah, check them out. So they're good. And check out the Ringcast on Saturday. So that's all I got.
Very cool. And Danny, I know, like you said, we teased you got something you're working on, so I'm sure we'll hear about it soon, and I'm sure we'll share it in our group and talk about it here. So best of luck with your endeavor here. Excited for you.
Appreciate it, guys. Coming soon. Stay tuned.
Nice. If anyone wants to check me out on Instagram, I got a collecting one, Blundero Thunder, BLNUDERO Thunder. It's just I post all my collecting pictures on there, and I got a couple figures going up for sale. So if anyone's interested in some Batmans, you can send me a DM on there.
Very cool.
Batman.
All right, guys, it's been a blast as always, and we'll come at you next month here. And we won't use Scott's idea for a new T-shirt. I don't want to say it out loud because it sounds kind of crude, but it's a little tongue in cheek. But I thought it was hilarious. But anyways, so as I get the clip here ready to go, so Chris, my friend, bring us home.
Excelsior.